former LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacey reportedly took his own life at the end of a chase with law enforcement in Spring overnight. Monday, the draft hopeful was set to appear before a grand jury, having been accused of killing a man in a car crash and then fleeing the scene. ABC 13's Shannon Ryan is live from the scene of last night's crash along Aldine Westfield Road. Shannon?
Hey there, Tom. You can see there's a pretty substantial amount of damage here where Lacey, we're told, crashed his car after having taken his own life. Tonight, his family and friends are hoping that his story inspires others to check in on their own loved ones. NFL draft hopeful and former LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacey reportedly died by suicide Saturday night following a law enforcement chase in Spring.
Approaching Cypresswood, just flew through the light, Cypresswood.
Lacey reportedly took his own life about a day before he was slated to appear before a grand jury, accused of killing a 78-year-old veteran in a December crash and fleeing the scene, according to ABC Baton Rouge.
If we got a pursuit, hold the channel.
In a statement, the Harris County Sheriff's Office said the Precinct 4 Constable's Office was called to an address along FM 1960 just after 11 Saturday night, where Lacey had reportedly shot into the ground during an argument with a family member.
The victim saying that no one got shot. She's saying that someone shot. He shot the gun and then left.
A deputy constable reportedly found Lacey driving about half an hour later and tried unsuccessfully to stop him, prompting a several-mile chase that ended here along Aldine Westfield, where HCSO says Lacey shot himself, then crashed. His father, Kenny Lacey, putting out this statement on Facebook, encouraging parents to check on their children's mental health. Several athletes also put out statements of their own, echoing his message. Now, to be clear, the Harris County Sheriff's Office is investigating this through their homicide division. They did put out a statement saying they recovered a gun from inside Lacey's car. They also say dash cam video shows Precinct 4 did not fire any shots after this chase was over. Right now, we're still working to clarify that that also means no shots were fired before this chase ended. Shannon Ryan, ABC 13.
What's up, crew? It's your boy G. I'm back with another reaction video. Today we're reacting to some very sad news. So Kyren Lacey, young man from LSU, receiver, prospering receiver, was projected to be a number 1 first round draft pick in his draft class. A couple months before the draft, he got accused of being the aggressor in a accident. He was accused of causing an accident that caused a 70-year-old man to perish. Kyren Lacey continued after that. His life just continued to spiral out of control, and he ended up committing suicide. The world ridiculed him, completely threw him under the bus, completely tore him apart, and he couldn't take it. And his attorney vowed to bring justice in this case. And now, just a couple of days ago, it's been announced that Kyren Lacey had nothing to do with the accident. He had nothing to do with the accident, and the officer lied. And they contracted a story that would make him seem like he was guilty, and he wasn't. And I just think it's just absolutely sad that this young man lost his life because of an officer's negligence and the officer's greed for drama and lies. And now this young man, who was a promising athlete, who would have been a great NFL receiver, has perished and was taken from us unlawfully and unfairly. And I think that, charges need to be filed. I think that people need to be held accountable for this. I think, with Kyren Lacey being a great young man, a great stand-up young man, had never gotten in trouble, this just completely ate him alive. And it's just crazy how you can just frame something on somebody like this and the law upholds it. It's absolutely crazy. But I'm going to watch this video about his lawyer speaking about the whole case and everything that goes down. If you guys like this video, leave a like. But it's just sad, I hope that, we can stop things like this now from happening. Rest in peace, too.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Martin Falls. And if you recall, months ago, I had attorney Matt Ory on our program to talk about Kyren Lacey's involvement or non-involvement in a wreck that took place, which took the life of a very popular man, Mr. Hall. And it was well documented, went national. It was talked about, it was written about, it was blogged about. It was all over the nation. So I did tell Mr. Ory back then, and I also tell everyone involved in this, whether you're an attorney or whether you're part of the investigation, you're always welcome to tell your story on HTV. So I told Mr. Ory, if you have anything to add to the story at any point, please give me a holler and we'll get you on. So joining me now is Matt Ory, attorney, and good to see you, Matt. Thank you for coming.
Good to see you, Martin. Thank you for having me.
Did you compile anything new?
I've got everything. I've got every piece of evidence I have viewed. I've examined every piece of evidence, which includes all surveillance, all body cam footage, and most importantly, the investigative report that was generated and manufactured by the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office, according to the data that they obtained.
In that report, which is independent of you, when I was going through it and looking at some of these things in it, I think you'll probably go over where they were, because I see you brought a board where you're going to depict where all of them were during the incident, and you have all that information to sort of explain where everyone was at, how fast they were going, what they were doing, all of that.
I do. I've got it all here.
Okay. Is most of this reports, or do you have actual video?
Got the entirety of the district attorney's findings, their findings after their own investigation. That's what we're here today to present. We're going to compare and contrast those findings with the findings of state police, because there's a ton of confusion. People seem to believe that somehow he hit someone in this accident, or possibly even shot through two cars and there was this explosion behind him. I've heard every version possible, but we can show you the version right now.
Okay. Sort of describe the video for our audience, what you've seen in the video.
Yeah, so what you'll see is in the top left of the screen, you're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Vacherie. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyren Lacey come to a stop.
So as we've seen...
Bro, he's nowhere near the crash. He's in the back. There was a car in front of him, between him and the crash. How did he crash?
The video. It looks like the impact happens, and then Kyren Lacey is behind him. How far away was he from there?
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of the investigative report that I now have my hands on. We know from data that Kyren Lacey did in fact pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyren Lacey passed 4 cars. However, he was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Back in his lane, behind Mr. Hall. At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles.
He's seen a wreck that happened in front of him, and he just passed it. I mean, I've done that before. I've seen a wreck, and I passed it. There's no law broken there. There's no law that says he has to get out of his car, stop everything he's doing, and help them. Like,
the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles.
And I want to shout out his lawyer, man, because even after Kyren's, taking his life, he still has been advocate about clearing his client's name. Like, he has been advocate. He could have just said, it is what it is. Kyren's gone. People are going to think what they're going to think. I got other things to do in my hand. Nah, he stayed true. He said, man, they forced my client to take his life. So you know what? I'm going to stick it to their ass.
That is not how this story was ever painted. Never.
Any part of the district attorney's investigation that talked about Mr. Lacey getting back, I guess we call it, what do you call it, correcting or getting in your proper lane?
Sure, he was back in his proper lane according to their data. This isn't my expert. This is the investigation of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. So I'm here simply comparing and contrasting the District Attorney's Office with state police in this matter, their investigations. And in that investigation, it shows that he was back in his correct lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Before this.
There's a car in between him. Look at this. There's the car that got a direct. This is the car that's in the lane traveling southbound. This car is going north. There's a car right here. Kyren Lacey isn't even in the screen. He's not in the screen. Where's Kyren Lacey? He's not here. There's a car right here. There's the wreck right here. Kyren Lacey's nowhere. Kyren Lacey's Hellcat is nowhere to be seen on the screen. It's nowhere to be seen. How did he cause this accident? This accident clearly happened before he even gets in the screen of the camera. And there's a car right here. But everybody ridiculed this young man. And the accident is right here. He's nowhere in the screen. Crazy.
Incident occurred, he was back in his lane.
There he is, right? Look. How did he cause this? How did he cause that? Come on, man.
What is the legal law state about where you should be behind? Or I want to say I thought it was 100 feet. Is that correct?
It is correct. Take out the fact here that it's a no passing zone. If it weren't at this time, it's 100 feet. What we know now is he was 3 times legally what he needed to be back in his lane of traffic.
Where was everybody involved in this? And I see you brought something that you could visibly show everybody.
Yeah, I mean, like I stated, if we're looking at this, and of course this isn't to scale, and I can't draw, but what you see here is vehicle 3. That is Mr. Hall's vehicle.
My bad.
This is another vehicle between Mr. Lacey and Mr. Hall.
Okay.
This is the gold truck that's referenced in the report. This is heading north. So this is the lead vehicle heading north. And the vehicle that actually collided with Mr. Hall's vehicle, that would be vehicle 2. All right?
So there's 2. So this is Kyren Lacey's Hellcat, correct? It's Kyren Lacey. There's a vehicle right here. There's Mr. Hall's vehicle. There's a truck. And then there's the vehicle 2 that collide. Vehicle 3 and vehicle 2 collide. Lacey's back here. There's 2 cars in between them. Like, I mean, I'm not a fucking forensic scientist, but goddamn, there's 2 cars in between him and the other 2 cars. But somehow he gets the blame.
So through the course of this, now we start investigating and dissecting everything we possibly can. Mm-hmm. When we do that, we start with vehicle 2, right? So what do I know now about vehicle 2? Vehicle 2 was tailgating, all right? According to the data, again, of the district attorney's office, not me, according to their data, tailgating at 49.6 miles an hour, 0.5 seconds behind the gold truck, 1.5 seconds before the crash. So again, if that did make sense, she is following 0.5 seconds behind this vehicle.
Damn, she on that vehicle ass.
0.5 seconds behind that vehicle, 1.5 seconds before the crash at over 49 miles an hour. 0.5.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So now what we're looking at, this isn't speculation. Through this, we hear there's story after story. Actually, vehicle 2's story got bigger and bigger and bigger until we now have their data, right? So when we get our hands on it, I'm looking at the data from that particular vehicle. That data in that vehicle shows me 5 seconds previous to this crash. 5. I'm looking at it, and you're going to show it. 5 seconds previous to this crash, she maintained a speed of 49.6 miles an hour, never activating the EBS system until 0.5 seconds before the crash. Why is that important? Because if your story, which we'll get into, keeps getting bigger and bigger, and you had all this time to see the gold truck, in her words, stomp on their brakes, slam on their brakes, come to a stop, veer off the road. I see another vehicle approaching. I see the Charger approaching. Well, my question to you now becomes, how did you see that vehicle approaching, or him stop, or him slam on his brakes, yet your data says you never touched your brake? prior to 0.5 seconds before that crash. I'm looking right now, so are you, at the last 5 seconds, according to her. Her car's black box, not mine, not my expert. That's her car. So if you're going to tell me a 5 to 10 second elaborate story, it needs to make sense. And when you have the data, not only doesn't it add up, it's not possible.
No, it's not. It's not. It literally says 49, 49, 49, 49, and then 0.5 seconds, which is half a second, which is like that. She slams on her brakes, which means when you're driving, oh my God, da da da, and then something, and you try to slam on the brakes. Like, no, that doesn't even add up. That's not even feasibly possible.
Notice on there, Martin, it says 75 degrees, right? You turn 75 degrees to the left all of a sudden. That's what happens when you tailgate. Now, interestingly enough, this...
Oh, he's good. So basically, she was tailgating the car in front of her, right? I guess the car in front of her must have slammed on brakes or did something, and she tried to, because she was on the car's ass, turn to the left. Then she hit vehicle one.
Vehicle was actually, when this woman was in the ambulance, they issued her a ticket, all right? You know for what? Take a wild guess. Following too close. Data from the district attorney's office tells me you're traveling 0.5 seconds at 49.6 miles an hour, 1.5 seconds before the accident. That's not tailgating? That's not following too close? Of course it is. Ticket was taken away.
I'm looking at the data, and I'm learning some new things here. So the 75, the steering input at 75 to the left.
That's correct.
Any indicate that, I would guess 75 on a scale of 100, that's a pretty hard turn to the left.
It's a very hard turn to the left. The gold truck, the lead vehicle in oncoming traffic, who, by the way, is probably one of the two most important witnesses in this entire case. We know now that 2.99 seconds prior to him pulling off the road, he was traveling 28 miles an hour. 28 miles an hour. Now, you're going to hear his statement in a little while, and it's going to all make sense. But let's be very clear right now for the intent and purposes of what we're doing. There are two vehicles that we're talking about right now that are traveling north. The second vehicle in oncoming traffic, which is vehicle 2, their data says she is tailgating. She is 0.5 seconds at 49.6 miles an hour. 1.5 seconds before the crash. And you saw her data, 50.3 to 49.6.
Yeah, so she stayed at 49.6 until 0.5 seconds.
Look at this. Look at this. So he's at 50, 49, 49.6, 49.6, 49.6, 49.6, 49.6, 49.6, 45.9, and she slams on the brake 0.5, half a second. That's crazy.
And then
there's a variation of less than a mile per hour.
Yeah.
It's 0.7, I believe.
right. Did she give any police report or anything?
Oh, absolutely. So,
Let's talk about that a little
yeah,
bit.
we will. This particular individual, and for purposes of this report, I'd like you, Martin, this is page 9, if you could follow along to make sure I'm not misquoting a single thing.
All right.
All right, I'm looking at the investigative report of the district attorney's office. And then here you can see this is their investigator looking at vehicle 2 statements, and now he's analyzing. He says, upon reviewing the body cam video of the trooper from the scene, the following statement was made by, we'll call her vehicle 2, right? I just know the truck was stomping on brakes. The other was trying to pass the other car. I was trying to dodge by not hitting him, by coming around. When the trooper asked how fast she was going, she replied the speed limit. He next says, I reviewed the recorded interview and the written statement from vehicle 2 while she was in the hospital on January 3rd, 2025. Below is a synopsis of that interview. And at very first it says, all I can see is that a car is coming this way and the car in front of me. Right before the crash, I'm looking at the pickup truck in front of me. That's all they see for the moment. I'm eating my Funyuns. I got in the middle of my lap and I'm driving. I'm listening to my music.
Why she so fucking fat she eating Funyuns in the middle of her fucking driving? See, this is why I say motherfuckers should be doing stupid shit. Why are you eating Funyuns in the middle of driving? That's some fat shit.
All of a sudden, I see the car get in the other person's lane. The truck, end quote, steps on his brakes. First, so it slows down. But then he does it again, and this time it's really hard. That's when you can see on the other side the car is trying to get back over. But before you can get over, the truck stops in the middle, like on the brakes, hard. There's another car that runs damn near into the pole. It's either I run into him or I try to get out the way, so I'm trying to get to the dollar store parking lot. Then the other car just comes and slams into me. The trooper asked Vehicle 2, whenever you're looking forward, or the cars in front of you, they swerve off to the right before you make your left, or are you looking at a green Charger coming at you? Or, end of quotes. Vehicle 2 responded with, the green Charger came, and then the car behind me, behind them, the truck, the van, whatever. The trooper does not ask any further follow-up questions to get a better understanding of what she was saying for this answer. Now remember, I'm reading what the investigator's saying. When Vehicle 2 states the truck stops in the middle of the road like on the brakes hard, this statement indicates that the gold truck stopped in the middle of the lane and not, in quotes, swerving off to the right. This would also show that Vehicle 2 would have steered to the left to avoid contact with the gold truck and not Kyren Lacey. During this interview with the trooper, Vehicle 2 made several statements that do not match the submitted report or written statement. Instead of questioning Vehicle 2 for more details, the trooper attempted to recap what she was saying, which seems to contradict her statements. While doing this, the trooper is the first to talk about the gold truck swerving off to the right. Then when it came to obtaining the written statement, the trooper tells Vehicle 2 what to document on the statement as she is writing.
I have two questions here. One, I'd like to know more about the statement that she made to the trooper. The other one would be, do we have any data on the gold truck?
2.99 seconds before the gold truck eases off to the road, eases off of the road,
Right.
He's traveling at 28 miles an hour.
Right.
That all is in this report.
Yeah, that's my question.
You watch someone slam on their brake.
So the gold truck is traveling at 28 miles per hour. She's traveling at 49. That's what a tailgating gets at. And like the gold truck traveling at 28 slams on his brakes. She's traveling at 49.6. She tries to swerve to avoid him, and she hits the other car.
Brakes. You watch them stop. You watched a car chart coming at you in your lane of traffic, but you never thought to just tap the brakes? Really? No. Data is accurate. The black box is accurate that says that you never touched your brakes. You never touch your brakes in the last 5 seconds until 0.5 seconds before the impact. That's their data. It's not mine.
Proceed. What did you find out after that?
So what I was curious about here, most importantly to me, in terms of the oncoming traffic, right? So I'm looking at that gold truck. I want to know what they said, when they said it, what were the circumstances, how did this come about? And this is where it really starts tying together, right? The gold truck, they end up getting a statement from this individual. There's two of them. The very first one, what I noticed on the body cam was that the conversation was going on for 4 minutes and approximately 30 seconds prior to the body cam being activated. And of course, when the body cam's activated, I don't know what you said those previous 4.5 minutes, they end up at this individual's house to obtain a statement. I want to play right now how that statement started.
Okay. Let's roll that in.
All right, sir. So, look, don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name, your address. Don't worry about any of that. Just right here, if you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
It's Highway 20. Highway 20. That you just.
All right, me and my wife gonna figure out right quick.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that Charger and the brakes locked up.
Wow. He literally just told him, you got to frame Kyren Lacey. Like, he didn't even give the man a chance to write what he's seen. He told him, like, make sure you write that, hey, you have to slam on the brakes to avoid the green Charger. And we just seen the video that his lawyer just played that Kyren was nowhere near the accident. He was literally, 90 yards back? And nobody had to slam on the brakes to avoid him. And he just told this man to write in black and white, make sure you write that you had to slam on the brakes to avoid the green Charger. That's crazy, bro.
To avoid that Charger, that's...
I ain't skid mark or nothing, I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't saw what was happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
So, but the Charger was coming right at you, correct?
See what I'm saying? He keep throwing the Charger, talking about the Charger was coming directly at you. We just seen the video, bro. The Charger was not coming directly at him. That's crazy, bro.
That's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this Charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here.
In that video, you can clearly hear the suggestive nature indicating that I need you to say that you had to slam on your brakes and you had to avoid a Charger.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, like, you know, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that Charger, and the brakes.
It's sick, bro. It's sick. This sick, and it's sick for so many reasons. Because this is the thing, a young man took his life over this, bro. Like, this man was a promising future NFL first rounder, promising future, was just driving on a normal day. How many of us drive not to work? I mean, how many of us drive to work, to the grocery store, to games? You never think things like this happen. How many of us have seen car wrecks? I've seen a handful of car wrecks, and I've minded my business, right? I mean, how many of us have actually seen people, you know, get in wrecks in front of us and just, you know, went around them? And to think that this man, I don't know what he was doing, but he was just out taking maybe a ride in his nice car, sees a car accident in front of him. You know, he's probably, you know, he's probably coming from training because this is around the draft time. He's getting ready for the draft. And, you know, he gets a call that he caused an accident. And it's like the behind the scenes, like, it's like when that happened, everybody completely ridiculed this guy, completely ridiculed this young man and framed him. And just, it was on every blog. It was everywhere. And everybody automatically believed it was true. And here we go. It's not. It's sad.
Locked up to avoid that Charger. That's.
But then you hear Gold Truck, the witness, who's the Gold Truck, what he says. And he says verbatim.
I ain't skid mark or nothing, I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't saw what was happening. That's how she caused that wreck, and she wrote.
Oh, what did he just say? What did he just say? He just said verbatim, she caused that wreck. Kyren Lacey ain't no woman.
Running in the back of me, she pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
I didn't skid marked or nothing because I wasn't even going that fast. That lady in the back of me, she didn't see what's happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was going to run into the back of me, and she pulled into the other side. But there's a bigger problem. I then obtained the actual written statement.
And this is from the Gold Truck.
This is the Gold Truck. Now, after the statement we just went through, notice I've obviously redacted names, addresses, and the cell phone number in fairness to the individual who is Gold Truck number one in oncoming traffic. See, the problem with that statement is it is in direct contravention to what was said minutes earlier. It's not written by him, and where it says signed, it's not signed, it's refused. But you see, when I have a witness who is the most critical, and he's telling you, I wasn't traveling fast. We know now that he wasn't. The data shows 2.99 seconds before that he was traveling 28 miles an hour. The data shows that. Now he corroborates that. And he goes on to say, I didn't even make a skid mark. That woman behind me, she caused that accident. And you give me this statement that is refused? I got a problem. I got a problem with that, a big one. What he's saying is she had to avoid hitting him. He specifically stated she caused that accident, but I've got an affidavit for arrest warrant right here. Nowhere in here does it say anything that you guys just saw on body cam. To the contrary, about that vehicle, it says the gold truck took evasive action by emergency braking and driving off the roadway to avoid a head-on crash. But you just heard he said, I wasn't even going fast. I didn't even skid mark. So what emergency braking are we referring to here? And what the hell?
And he said the signature was refused. The officer wrote the statement.
Was the point of this report? It is complete opposite. I would expect that you'll show this to where they can read what was said versus what was written just minutes earlier.
Just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, like, you know, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's
Nice.
But again, if he's saying that what he just said, right? He said you had to slam on the brakes and the brakes locked up. Then how did he go take evasive action and go off the road? He's contradicting himself. Because he just said in the statement, it just said the gold truck had to take evasive action to avoid from hitting the charger. But then right here, he says in the video, the brakes locked up. So how can you take evasive action if your brakes lock up? Make no sense.
That wasn't even going for that lady in the back of me. She didn't saw what's happening. That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled
Road to. I had to drive off road to avoid getting hit. Then I stopped. I was traveling. Yeah, this whole statement is just ass. This whole statement is no contradicting.
on the other side, and that's not in it.
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct? And that's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger, right?
It sounds like, and look, listen to what he said. He said, make sure you include all that because we're trying to locate who the charger is. So they're trying to pin it on a charger, but they need ample evidence to pin it on the person with the charger. That means they didn't have nothing on the person with the charger. They wanted to find out who the person who was driving the charger was so that they could make it stick. Man, police play a dirty game, man. They play a dirty game, man.
Right now, so just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here. Okay?
By the way, the body cam wasn't on for this statement. It was turned off before obtaining this statement. And this is what we get back in a file.
So I get a refused statement, and you turn the body cam off, and we just heard you tell him or suggest to him what to write. Yeah, bullshit.
This. Remember, Kyren passed. I'll just put X's. This is where Kyren passed, right? He comes here, he passes. He gets back in his lane. Don't you know that one of these witnesses that's in this package actually says in his statement that the Charger passed through the vehicle of Mr. Hall and the gold truck and vehicle 2, and then they collided. I can't make this up. This is what people just don't get to see. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not saying this intentional. I'm saying people commit to a story and they don't back down. You saw it here, but I'm telling you, you guys saw a video. You just saw a statement where somebody tells them what to say. They tell them that's not what happened. They still give me the statement. And now I got another individual who we won't harp into here because it's so uncredible, right? That one individual, one of the 4 individuals here, they say that they were going 30 to 35 miles an hour when Kyren passed him. He did. There's no disputing that. No one ever did, but he was back in his lane of travel. 92.3 yards back in. 72.6 at the time of impact. When they collide, he is 72.6. Before they collide, he is almost a football field away back in his lane. That's not disputed. What you can see is another car come to a stop.
Yeah, because look at this. This is the white car right here. Kyren's not nowhere in the video. The accident's already here. Kyren's not there. He's not there. He's nowhere to be found. But how did he cause this? He must have teleported and then teleported back. Nah, man. I ain't buying it, bro. I ain't buying it, man. I ain't buying it, bro. I ain't even buying it, man. I don't need you guys. Wow. Wow, man. I just hope and pray to God that the trooper who lied and coerced or lied on a statement or coerced the witness to lie gets held accountable. And also the witness that lied, because I mean, all the evidence that his lawyer has showed us, there's no way that this man is guilty. The accident's here. Kyren's nowhere in the frame. How did he cause the accident? He's nowhere in the frame. He's nowhere in the frame. And this young man, promising life, taken away from him, gone because of this. Sad. It's sad. I don't even gotta watch any more of this. Like, this shit is sad, and you know, I'm all for, you know, people getting charged for this, and I hope they do, because they took this man's life away from him because of these lies. But if you guys like this video, man, please leave a like and subscribe. And justice for number 2. He deserves justice, and nobody deserves this to happen to them. And just be careful when you're driving, man. Just be careful when you're on the road, because you never know. You could go for a harmless drive, see an accident, and then get charged with vehicle manslaughter or homicide, and people lie on your name. So, you know, just be careful. Young men that play sports, man, be careful, man. You got a target on your back. You know, these people are trying to lock you up and take your life away because they don't want to see you be prosperous. You got some hurtful and envious people out there that will try to tear you down because they're miserable and because they can't be where you are. So be careful, young man. Thank y'all. Rest in peace too.